one of their researchers says that only 7% of cancers can be attributed to genetic factors, and that 93% of cancer comes from lifestyle or environmental factors.
In terms of how we feel and symptoms, there's an abundance of evidence from the Society of Integrative Oncology, the Institute of Functional Medicine, that really demonstrates how your mental and emotional state affects your immunity. And that's just fascinating stuff. And I think we all know that, we all feel that. But now there's also collective evidence that's sort of pointing to a role of chronic stress in cancer growth and metastasis. So now not only do you have an endpoint from the perspective of how you feel, but there's an idea that, you know, inflammation can also affect outcomes on the very medical sense. So really, these are two things that I always kind of keep in mind. One, I mean, it's obvious, quality of life, here we go. And this other that we're kind of investigating, but we're investigating that together. And so it's like, it's a very powerful combo.
Yeah, so people are always, wary of what they call as alternative therapies, alternative treatments. I like to call them complementary therapies. And one of the things that I do actively is do, different art projects. I color, I doodle, I do various, creative work. And this research that has been done by a professor from the University of Hull in UK, is a gentleman called Leslie Walker. He has done some research with breast and lymph cancer patients, practiced guided imagery, which is basically visualization, right? And his research said that such people who do practice guided imagery, they live on an average 2.5 years longer than those who, in the control group who did not use that. And of course, we don't know what the quantity, whether the quantity of life is that important, but it also says what was the quality, right? That because of this guided imagery, their immunity improved. There was a significant increase in their natural killer cells and in their T cells. So that I thought was a very concrete piece of scientific evidence for the so-called alternative therapies.
We've been collecting this type of research now for many years. And if you want to have a look at, there's plenty of such research actually. If you want to have a look at it, please go to our website, www.cancerawakens.com, and you'll be able to see a lot of this kind of research. From my standpoint, I usually quote two pieces of research that I have found to be very powerful. The first one comes from the World Health Organization. Right now, the World Health Organization is taking a bit of a beating, I know. But for all these years, they've been doing amazingly good work. And one of their researchers says that only 7% of cancers can be attributed to genetic factors, and that 93% of cancer comes from lifestyle or environmental factors. Now, for me, this is a huge insight, because if you look at the modern discourse, if you look at what's published in the media, it feels as if it's the opposite, that we tend to pay so much attention to the genetics, the BRCC gene and, all kinds of things, but we are probably not paying enough attention to lifestyle and environment, which accounts for 93% of cancers. The second study, which I read many years ago, which always had a great impact on me, was done by the famous Karolinska Institute from Sweden. It's a very famous scientific institute. And they did research among 44,000 twins, pairs of twins. And what they found was that the cancer incidence between twins was not the same. It was not identical. Now, this is a very important piece for me as well, because twins have the same DNA. And despite having identical DNA, the cancer incidence is not the same, which means that there are some other factors at work. And so for me, I find that, this kind of research, the one that Niraj has quoted, the one that Anamika has quoted, and what I have quoted, might give us some more confidence to say that, look, the complementary approach has many positives that we could potentially look at.